Assalamualaikum guys, being an economist, I want to deliver a short lecture over COVID-19 and its global economic impact. As you know, coronavirus outbreak was started from the Chinese city Wuhan and it was spreading so rapidly, but luckily the Chinese government taken some step to blockade and isolate whole of the China for about 2 to 3 months, and luckily they have control over this disease very successfully. But as a global village, this coronavirus was spread all over the world very soon. Now whole of the world is facing this disease and it became a pandemic. Some of the people think that it's a war, a biological warfare, but no, I think it's totally a natural disaster which we human beings are facing nowadays. It's not a third world war nor a trade war, rather it is an outbreak, and the whole humanity is suffering very severely nowadays from this pandemic. After all, it will have a devastated impact over the global economy. So the world will suffer it and global GDP will be decreased up to 2% due to this pandemic. Now let's come to the topic how China controlled this pandemic in a short period. Remember, China is the world's second largest economy, and China is a powerful and a privileged country. China has strong institutions and latest medical facilities. Besides that, China have controlled media and they have fully control over their nation. China's government spend the same amount on a single city Wuhan, which are sufficient to run the whole China. Besides that, Chinese as a civilized nation and developed nation, they are much committed, so they as a nation defeated this COVID-19, and of course they need appreciation. But as you know, that world is a global village nowadays, therefore this pandemic was spread all over the world very rapidly. Let me share an interesting fact. The world can be divided into two parts, the north and the south. The upper part of this map is the north, while the lower part is called the south world. Remember, all northern world is a rich world, while southern world is third world countries and developing countries. In short, all countries situated on the north of the world are developed countries, and on the south of the world is underprivileged countries. Another fact is that northern world have cold weather while the southern world have a hot weather. Now whatever are the reason, but it is fact that the coronavirus have affected the northern world and the southern world is a little bit safe. I am not a doctor or I can't say that what are the reason, but it's a fact that northern world is more affected due to this COVID-19. In short, this virus have more affected the developed world. Northern world consists of North America, Europe, Russia and China and Japan, while the rest of the countries are mostly situated in the southern world. In short, all those countries which are severely affected due to COVID-19 are northern and developed countries, so the export of these countries is heavily affected because they are exporting technological products which are so expensively, and their import is also little bit reduced, but they are generally importing most of the raw materials which are not so costly. On the other hand, all southern countries or less developed countries have the export of raw materials or some mining, so their export are already not so expensive. If it is little bit reduced, still they will not be affected much more. On the contrary, developing countries import is definitely decreased, which is a big news for the developing countries, because their balance of payment and trade deficit issue will be decreased. Now, what will be the future of the globe? Definitely, it will have a multi-directional impact over the globe. Countries will revise their foreign policies because their interest will be little bit changed, and most of the country will delete or will have some addition of new countries in their friend list. So it will have some impact over the diplomatic relation of countries. Shape of the businesses will be also changed. Most of the businesses will be become online, while the education system of the world will also transform into online system. Although some people will hate globalization, but it is inevitable and will obviously flourish further. Global GDP will be decreased by 2%. Country will consume more percentage of their GDPs on education and especially on health, and will reduce on their defense. And world will become more virtual. People will try to adopt a hygienic lifestyle. It will have a positive and favorable impact over the world environment. Environment will be flourished and global warming will be decreased. The emission of greenhouse gases is already decreased due to the less use of fossil fuels and the blockade of industries. Atmosphere and hydrosphere of the globe will get more clean. One of the auspicious news is that ozone layer depletion is already started, and now ozone layer is repairing very quickly as per some reports. Marine life, ocean life or sea life will flourish again due to the blockade of ship transportation in the oceans. And same is the situation of air. Sky is looking clear nowadays due to the blockade of airlines transportation. World forest will grow more rapidly and it will be a big news for wildlife protection. The world biggest countries like China, USA and most of the European countries have much worse impact on their economy due to coronavirus. Their export will decrease. It will be a bad news for their economy. During last 3 months, China's export plunged up to 17% while their import decreases up to 4%. There is another point. You people will be thinking that why US dollar is still stable although world international stock market is crashing nowadays. Dollar is still strong. The main reason is that nowadays investors are not interested to invest in any form due to the fear that market will crash and their investment will be sink. So all over the world investors are taking out their money from stock exchange and they are investing it in the dollar. Although investing in the dollar is not so attractive because there is very less profit, but it is a stable way and it is also a safe way to invest in these crisis like situations. Covid-19 has a great visible impact over the international oil prices. International oil prices plunged from $67 per barrel in December 2019 to 22 US dollar per barrel in April 2020. Although oil price war between Russia and Saudi is the main reason in the reduction of international oil price market, but the basic reason in the reduction of oil price is still COVID-19. Novel coronavirus will have its impact on the situation of Central Asian countries and especially the rivalry between Iran and Saudi may be decrease and their dominance in the Islamic world is also will be reduced. So it was my point of view regarding the economic impact of COVID-19. If you have learned something from this video lecture, so kindly like this video and subscribe my channel. Best